Welcome everybody to Phandalin Session 10. Last session in Session 9, the session began in Meryl Pocket of Shadow. In the dark expanse, there was nothing in there save for Meryl wooden hut and various writhing shades. Gathering your courage, you all met with her. During negotiations, Harbin began to lose his nerve. Mazuna abruptly offered to trade the witch whatever she wanted in exchange for power. In response, she pulled from his hair a humanoid shade, which she placed carefully in a chair behind her. Fife and Cruel convinced Harbin to make a deal, so long as it's painless, in exchange for opening a path to the Feydark with Phandalin. As Mazun tried to get that as well, however, he sort of shoehorned it in a bit too late. And was only given the power. As Meryl retrieved her prize from Harbin, she carries on a mental exchange with Echo, teaching them how to access her Pocket of Shadow in order to meet them at a later point. Upon returning back to the material plane in Phandalin, Cruel immediately alerts Elok to Mazun's restored condition, telling him that Mazun had struck a deal with Meryl. Mazun attempts to assuage Elok and points out that he would have been executed back at the capital if deemed unable to carry on his duties. He suggests that they can continue to work in this way, but Elok is furious. Echo startles Elok, and the homunculus, seeing Elok off guard, leaps onto his back and attempts to swallow Elok, managing to engulf his torso. Lance attacks the creature, causing it to regurgitate Elok. Though it attempts to escape, the party restrains the creature and Elok pummels it into submission. Fife and Cruel are unable to convince the paladins to give them custody of the homunculus, and Harbin departs, warning the townsfolk to stay away from the churning rift that leads to the Feydark. He asks Fife and Cruel to investigate the rift and see what can be done to help the town. Echo suggests that the paladins enter the portal to the Feydark in order to buy more time, offering their services to guide them back. Before they depart, the party runs various errands. Demonstrating their lock-picking skill to Fife, Echo opens the locked apothecary shop for another resupply. Isadora concocts 4 doses of nitroglycerin for Fife for use in their arrows. Kroll informs Harbin that whoever had stolen the keys had recently continued to rob the apothecary shop. Echo sends another letter to the Order of the Crimson Rite. And then, your business concluded, all of you enter the portal to the Feydark, finding yourselves in the middle of a lush fungal wilderness. 2 entities, a rugged yet composed drow, and a large wasp-like insectoid, are holding a conversation in the middle of nowhere, deep in the wilderness, when the party manifests in the Feydark plane. The drow is surprised to encounter mortals in the Feydark, but the insectoid praises his benefactor for the timing and introduces itself as Gimnis, a messenger of Metzenvaki. Gimnis informs the party that Metzenvaki seeks to meet Fife and Cruel and has sent Gimnis to guide them to the Feywild from the Feydark. When questioned about the timing, Gimnis reported that it had only just arrived a few minutes ago, unexpectedly encountering the drow near the appointed location. The drow introduces himself as Lucian, a dark elf survivor lost and stranded deep in the wilds of the Feydark. Eager to return to the Underdark, he accompanies the group. As the party ventures through the Feydark, they are arrested by 3 arrogant moth people, a noblewoman and 2 knights. The noblewoman introduces herself as Lady Nyagan of the Winter Courts, and demands the party abandon their objectives and accompany the escort back to the Winter Court. Gimnis anxiously admits to not having much choice, as angering the queen could be dangerous. Recognizing the knight's capability, Lucian advises playing it cool. Cruel asks Gimnis to consider returning to inform Metzenvaki of the situation, but Lady Nyagan refuses to allow Gimnis to leave. The party agrees to accompany the lady and her knights, and as you all make your way through the Feydark, this brings us to now. Actually, I suppose y'all haven't quite left. You've just been asked to abandon all of your objectives. And I think you had all agreed, okay, we're going to go ahead and go with this group.
Yeah. We've probably got time.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Couple months, if we did the math right.
So that basically brings us to now. Moving back to basically you guys, as y'all travel, the way it's going to work is Gimnis is generally going to be in front, and all of you are sort of in front where the group can see you here. And these three nobles are going to kind of remain behind you. And as you travel, they generally don't speak to you much. But when they do, it's generally Lady Nyagan speaking.
What do they say?
Let me... Okay, perfect. Y'all can see that name tag. Okay, perfect. So as you're making your way through the Feydark, well, first off, do y'all think anything about this? Would y'all like to speak to each other immediately after this situation? You've all just been essentially taken captive, but without that word having been used, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they haven't told us we're under arrest. They just said, come with us, right?
Right. They said you are invited as guests, but that their authority supersedes whatever authority you travel by, and they know you travel. They assumed that you were guests of Metzenvaki. However, as Krull pointed out last session, that was sort of a tangent.
Are the moth people speaking to each other at all?
Go ahead and make me a perception check. Okay.
Sure. Perception. 14.
14. Sort of peering over your shoulder, Echo, you can see that they're watching you all very carefully, but they're sort of murmuring quietly about themselves.
Can I just casually lag behind just a little bit, see if I can overhear anything they're saying?
Sure.
Would I be able to hear?
Well, you're not all terribly far from one another, because they don't want you to be too far. I'd say you're probably... yeah, they wouldn't want you too far. Probably not 10, 12 feet. Even that's probably generous. But... Sure, so essentially what you're trying to do is lay low and lag behind and overhear what they're saying.
I'm just walking behind my party just a little bit, still in front of the moth people. They can still see me and everything. I just want to see if I can hear anything.
Okay.
Who's near me?
Echo is actually near you, Luthien.
Okay. I turn to Echo and says, "So how did you get here?"
We jumped through some sort of portal and we got here. That's how we got
Portal?
here. How did you get here?
Portal from where?
From my world.
And what is your world?
Oh, very different from this one. Not as colorful. And I must admit, I've never seen one of those people behind us.
Well, I'm sure they've never seen you either.
Perhaps.
So tell me about this world. What are you exactly?
I am what you would call a human on my realm. I don't know. There's not much to say about my world. All sorts of creatures, all sorts of beings.
You sound kind of sick.
Yes, I am, just a little bit.
Traveling or portal sickness.
It's all
yes,
the
portal sickness.
spores
That's right.
rich in
Yeah,
the
I think
air.
they got me this time.
Teleportation sickness is
Yes.
very hard to overcome. I hope you feel better.
Thank you very much. How did you get here? Are you from this realm?
Unfortunately, yes. This is
And
not my
you're-
actual home, though.
So you are lost.
You could say that.
Are you trying to make your way back home?
Well, perhaps to find a new place to call home.
Ah,
I'm not very fond of this place. I've been here for quite some time.
I see.
But the place I came from wasn't pleasant either.
Or perhaps you could try some time in my world if you get the chance.
That sounds wonderful. Maybe I can find a way to get out of here.
Perhaps. Perhaps something we can work on together.
Say
As for right now, we have to kind of play it by ear because now it's us and the Winter Queen.
The Winter Queen? Do you know of her?
Oh, do I know of her? Yeah, you can say that we've already met before. She's not real fond of me.
Oh. What
Why not?
happened?
Let's just say I'm her prisoner here in this world.
Then why were you all the way over here?
Because I'm stuck here. Because of
Oh,
her.
oh, you're like just in the oh, so she's why you're here. How'd that happen?
Well, it's a long story. I'm sure you wouldn't care to hear it. And even if you did, you wouldn't understand.
Now,
Try
Luthien,
me.
keep in mind you're speaking to an Aphano centaur, the likes of which you have never seen before. This is like a quadruped humanoid.
But I've never seen anything like a deer or horse or anything in the Feydark.
No.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anything like
Well,
that.
they don't have horses or deer here?
There's no centaurs in the Feydark?
The Feydark, no, not
Surprise.
not in the Underdark, where Luthien's
The
from.
Underdark.
So I just assume it's just like human shit, just a different type of human.
Yeah. Like how dogs think all things are just weird types of dogs.
Yeah, so like, I mean,
It's
I
just
was like,
another
oh,
kind
they
of
all
human.
came from the same place, so
Yeah.
that's Lucian's thinking. Unless you specify that you're not human.
I've said nothing of the sort.
Okay.
So what were you asking?
Me?
Yeah, you were asking a question, or is it?
I forgot. I legitimately forgot if I was asking something. What did I? Hold on. So that's how
was-
you knew.
Yeah, what's the deal with you and the Queen?
Well, our society is very matriarchal. The males are usually the ones doing most of the legwork, while the females run things around here. And my mistress was especially cruel to me. And one day, I fought back, and I was punished for it. The mistress happened to be an agent of the Winter Queen herself. So, of course, me killing one of her most beloved agents landed me here. She didn't kill me for whatever reason. That I'll never know the answer to.
Well, you might get your chance now.
Says Gimnis, as he sort of anxiously flutters about from the front. And you can see now that he's sort of listening in. And the knights behind you, as well as the noble, they're all sort of listening in as well.
I forget if I asked Gimnis this. Gimnis isn't the same wasp thing that I had in my jar, right? They're
No.
one of them, but not the same one.
Those were like little multicolored two-headed wasp creatures, and
Oh, yeah.
this is like a humanoid-looking, like wasp.
If Gimnis has
And they're like,
those, we could get word out.
yeah, or they're like, hold on, how big is Gimnis?
Gimnis is about the size of like Luthien. He's smaller than Echo, Cruel,
Okay.
or yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, Gymnus is not that imposing. Gymnus is just here to be a guide.
Yeah. Okay.
And Luthien is just a tag-along. Just like a random person who was like way out in the middle of nowhere.
Come on, man, get me out of here. Come on, please.
We've all been there.
Guide. We need a guide. Get me out of here.
I got these cheeseburgers.
So anyways, that's what was up. That's what Fife was asking about. Didn't mean to derail that.
Could I ask Gymnus about if he has a way to get word out about what's going on here?
Well, unfortunately not. I'm usually subject to Metzenvaki's wasps.
You don't have any of those with you?
No, they sort
Wait,
of come
subject to?
Yes, they come and go without my say-so.
Oh.
Will Mitzenvaki be able to find you?
Yes, well, that's my concern. You see, Metzenvaki is typically a planner, very wise. That's why they call it Metzenvaki the Far-Reaching. That being said, I don't know that he would be able to find us now at this point. This does derail our plans quite a bit. I'm afraid we're going to be quite late for our appointment.
Are we in any danger?
I would say a great deal, yes.
Well,
Do you have something nice on you? Some sort of gift to give to the Fey Queen? I hardly have anything myself.
yeah. I stick out my tongue and I show the amethyst that I've been chewing on.
You've been chewing on it?
that?
Well, I've been sucking on it.
I forgot about
How's that going?
You're
Not
gonna...
bad.
And he says,
Like a piece of rock candy.
it's a bit small, but I suppose it'll do. It's better than nothing. Oh, I've got nothing. I must find something quickly, or I'll be in a great deal of trouble, I'm afraid. A great deal.
I'll
She's
pull out a
making art.
mandragora and toss it to Gymnus.
Good lord, what is this wretched thing?
It's
Dead.
medicinal. Powerful medicine.
Shriveled little baby roots. Powerful medicine.
Now what?
I know nothing of
What
the
I
sort.
don't understand though. We're being forced to go there. Why do we need to bring gifts?
Well, it's custom.
We're gonna be the guests, right?
Yes, you're right. I just tend to worry about these things. It's better to play it safe, especially when it comes to the Fey Queen. She can be so fickle.
I don't know.
Keep in
The
mind, this
guy
is all
over
like
here-
road talk
guy
as
o-
y'all are walking.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say the guy over here murdered one of her servants or guardians or something. Murdered one of her people. She didn't seem too chuffed about it.
I look at Fife and I say, "Why don't you tell them my shoe size while you're at it?"
What? They were listening.
Oh, they were.
They were listening.
They were.
They're still
you
listening.
can tell them your shoe size.
And so yeah, they're all sort of like listening as you guys all sort of make your way. And every now and then Lady Nyagan sort of like barks orders at Gymnus.
Hold on, wait, at Gymnus? Why at Gymnus?
Because Gymnus is leading the group.
Oh, Gymnus knows where. Okay, okay.
They're steering.
Wait, hold
they're
on.
steering
Can I
Gymnus.
ask Lady Nyagan what the deal is? Can I talk to her?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to talk to her?
Yeah. I'm just gonna yell back at her. I'm not like moving. We're just gonna keep going. So like, Do we need gifts? Should I? What's the deal? What's this thing?
You can see she's sort of. She looks at you sort of haughtily, and she says, "Well, of course it's custom. Surely you're cultured enough to know that. If you're meeting a noble, it's always wise. Unexpected or not, I suggest you come up with something."
Okay.
Hey, by the way, are you still wearing your pimp coat, Fife?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. In that case,
fancy.
she's going to regard you differently, Fife. She's going to say, "You there. Oh shit, this would have been rather early on, actually, come to think of it. But you know what? Now that you're addressing her like this, rather she's going to say, "Who are you to address me so callously, creature?"
What is that? It means nothing to me.
What, callously?
I don't. Who am I? I'm me. Who are you?
And don't play games with me. I can tell by that shining coat of yours, you're someone of stature.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Oh my god,
Definitely.
Fife. Roll me deception.
Hold on, let me.
Oh yeah. But of course.
Yes.
Loading. Deception. Let's go for it. What we get? 9. Oh, but hold on. Don't I get a charm thing? It is a charm. I get +2. No, I get charisma because I have +2 from the pimp coat.
That's
so
correct. So
11.
It's 11.
Hell yeah.
Hurl yeah.
Damn, you seen through.
She's like, She's like, "Perhaps I misjudged you. A rare occurrence, but unless..." And she sort of thinks for a second, and she kind of murmurs to one of the others. And she's like, "Do you think this is the way of their nobles?" And the other knight sort of next to her is like, I can't be certain. I'm not
I look at them
familiar."
very sure of myself.
Yeah,
Like I
alright, so-
suddenly think I'm more important than I am.
Okay. So you're just fluffing yourself up, or are you going to say anything, or you're just sort of like...
No, I'm just smiling at them.
Okay, and what did you ask
Like
them?
a real shit-eating grin.
Oh god. Okay, so what did you ask them, Fife?
I forgot. I know, I was asking who they are.
Oh.
Like, tell me about your whole deal then.
Well...
I feel very put upon right now. I'd like at least some context for what's occurring.
I suppose there's no harm in it. And she says, "I'm Lady Noggin of the Winter Court. I serve as a ranger of sorts, out for some of these more unsavory tasks, like venturing way out in the middle of nowhere like this to find one such as yourselves. These here are my associates. This is Sir... Oh shit. Blah, blah, blah. Sir Inavern and Lady Irises. Put these down here. There you are. And she says, "They're my companions on my journey. And they're here to ensure we all make it back in one piece." She says, "As far as our business together, we'll only be together so long as we make our way back to the Winter Court. We've a long and perilous journey ahead of us. tell me, have you any experience with weapons?
Me? I don't know. Should I say yes? I'm gonna fucking like elbow crawl. I'm fucking like whisper crawl. Like, should I say yeah or no? What do you think?
Well, do you have any experience with weapons?
I have weapons on me. I feel like they could see them. This feels like a trick question.
I turn to them and I go, in our world, Fife is the greatest archer to ever live, and has slain many diabolical creatures, trolls bigger than a house.
Bats.
Oh,
That
Forget the bats.
is true. And the bat.
And the bat that destroys towns with only its voice. Beaten back by Fife's bow.
oh, is that so? And they sort of look at you, Fife, and they say, "This is true, then? You're really
Yeah, I'm
something
like,
else."
Yeah, I'm puffing my chest out. I've got my hands on my hips and like the ha 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 pose. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm just like I'm like violently nodding in agreement.
It's just okay. I need both of you to roll me deception checks, and we'll treat it like advantage.
If you are the most famous
Plus
archer,
TV.
why have I not ever heard of you?
Listen.
Damn, she's challenging you.
Ooh.
Hold on.
I've never heard your name before I
I just
met
got a
you.
19 though.
Mac, we'll take yours at disadvantage.
Okay, fine. I got a 14 though.
Okay, so 14 and a 14.
Wait, didn't I get
Advantage or I thought you said it was advantage.
We were treating it like advantage because you were both rolling. And so I was
Oh.
going to take the higher of whichever both of
Okay.
y'all got.
Okay.
But then
Oh.
Echo interjected, and we'll take the lower of yours, Mac. So,
Well, it's still 14.
so with this, Irisis, one of the knights, sort of coyly tilts her head, and she says, "Oh, the quiet one speaks. And
It's also
who are you?"
Oh, sorry.
Sort of eyeing your blades, Echo. She says, "You don't speak quite as much. I'm curious to know what you're being so quiet for."
I just prefer to listen. I find you learn much more when you're quiet.
This one reminds me of one of us. She sort of coos. Inavern, looking at Luthien, he's going to say, "And you there, straggler. I don't recall you being one of the ones we were sent to originally find, but you were there nonetheless. What can you tell us about yourself?"
My business is with the queen.
Well then, your business is your own. Sort of eyeing all of you. Let me think for a second. Lady Nyagan at some point is going to say, actually, so this was kind of a detail I didn't cover in the last one, but I wanted to go over it. There is the Feydark is essentially like perpetually evening, right? It's nighttime. I should say nighttime, not evening, because it's essentially night. But there is a moon, which essentially is always there, and it's like a black light. So it's this bright, sort of purple light. And in response to this light, all these plants kind of glow with this bioluminescent. However, don't want to say it's always there. I think rather I want to do a situation where there are times when it sets and there are times when it's up, but it's inconsistent. I don't like that. Let's do that.
So does it go through cycles?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I would say it does go through cycles, but the cycles are like differing length. So like it'll consistently like rise in one area and set in another.
Depending on the cycle, there's more or less light to see by. Is that correct?
The days are longer or shorter.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Does the bioluminescence of the light being on up above, like lighting everything up, make everything kind of generally lighter, easier to see, kind of like lit
Yes.
up?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So like even though it's nighttime, generally in these outdoor areas everything's well lit. Anything exposed to this light essentially glows with bioluminescence.
Neat.
Mhm. I would say even some of the moth people, like themselves.
They're glowing too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like there's
So
like
they
tendrils.
can't be very stealthy. They just like light up like light bulbs.
They can around here, because everything's lit up. And they just fade right into everything else.
Oh, true, I guess. If you're not glowing, you kind of stand out.
If you're like a dark spot.
Yeah.
Are there like, is there a bunch of cool plants and trees and stuff around? I'm just trying to paint the mental picture in my head here.
Yeah, so here, let's sort
Because
of,
I do see some cool coloring and stuff here. Ooh.
so generally, as you are making your way, you're going to see several instances of these like small insectoid, humanoid, like fairy creature entities which sort of kind of make their way. The water sort of gives off this multicolored incandescent glow. As you're making your way, I think almost it's almost kind of like fucking Pandora from Avatar, like blue people Avatar, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I imagine everything sort of like responding bioluminescently to like these footsteps. When you step like on moss or something, the moss will like radiate outwards in response to your footstep with light. And as you're all making your way through this place, give me 1 second. You come across a pool of water, or rather a glade. And it's a very unusual sort of glade, because there's sort of this framed view and there are these lanterns which kind of alight near this beautiful little spring pond, where the water sort of gurgles out of these strange trees which frame this pond, and it sort of gently drips down into this pool here. But looking at this, you're all struck by how lovely this pond is, but you're also keenly aware that there's something odd about these lanterns being here in the middle of the wilderness. A small
Echo
candle
starts
sits in
sketching.
each one. Sorry, what was that, Echo?
Just struck by this beauty, Echo takes out their notebook and starts to sketch.
Make me a sleight of hand check.
You got. Oh. Can you put my character on there so I can do it?
Oh shit. That's right.
Get into it.
Sure thing. It's
Oh, my
There
turn.
you are.
Okay. Oop. Sleight of hand, you say?
Mm-hmm. Sleight of hand. Sleight of hand, sleight of hand.
11.
Okay, okay.
I'm feeling rushed.
Okay, just curious. It still looks good. I'm just wondering. Alright, so you're making a sketch of the pool of water.
And the lanterns and the opening and the trees behind.
Gotcha.
Are we able to get closer to the lanterns to look at them?
Of course, yeah. So, this is slightly off the path. Who would like to go investigate?
I do.
Okay, Fife. Alright, Fife. So, as you sort of step off the trail, you all watch as Fife kind of steps away. And Fife, you're making your way towards this rather curious looking setup here.
Mm-hmm.
And as you circle around this pond, you're minding your step. It's absolutely gorgeous. Everything looks completely undisturbed. As you step through the moss, the hoofs kind of sinking into the mud a little bit, and the spring water sort of washing over it. And as you approach this lantern, you look up at it. These strange coiling vines.
Mm-hmm.
There's sort of almost kind of quiver and slowly sway as you approach, but it doesn't look hostile in any capacity. It almost looks welcoming, pleased to see you.
Mm.
And the sort of this hook here sort of kneels over to greet you,
Mm-hmm.
and then holds itself over the water here.
Wow. If it bowed at me, I will bow back at it.
Nice.
So it's just leaning, like it leans down over the water after doing that.
Mm-hmm. It leans down over the water.
What do
And-
I see in the water reflected with it?
So looking back at the water, you see yourself doing something you like to do. What is something Fife used to like to do, like with the other centaurs?
Guess tag, right? Yeah, sure, tag.
Sure. Okay. So something y'all would do would be sort of sprinting through the woods of your home, playing tag with the other centaurs. And as you're looking into the water, rather than see your reflection, you're going to see this memory of yours sort of playing out. Can you roll me a wisdom save?
Mm-hmm. 12.
Okay. So as you're playing tag, you're chasing someone down, and as they are running through the woods, you suddenly see them sort of dip behind a bush, right? Very suddenly, and out of sight. And you sort of watch, gazing at this water, as yourself in the reflection sort of peers over this bush, and you see this other centaur has sort of like tripped and wounded and broken its leg, right?
Ow, that sucks.
Yeah, and it looks pretty nasty. And Fife, you watch as your reflection, this reflection version of you sort of kneels down and begins to eat the other centaur who had wounded its leg. And as the other centaur kind of resists, you watch as you sort of leap upon it quite suddenly and begin sort of strangling this other centaur.
Can I turn and look at the lantern Be like, I don't know how I feel about you anymore. I'm gonna leave. It's a bummer. Does anyone else see it? I'm assuming this is just me seeing this, right?
We just all see him staring at the water, right?
Yeah, all of you see Five just staring at the water. And then Five sort of looks back up at you, kind of pale, looking a little unsettled by whatever they just saw in the water.
This place sucks. I'm just
Do
gonna
I
walk away
do I
from it.
know what he probably saw? Do I know like the properties of the water?
No.
Even though I've been there for such a long time.
There's so much that happens in the Feywild that's unique. Luthien, you've essentially learned that just like kind of anything is almost up for grabs around here because of the nature of chaotic magic.
All right.
And I mean, you've seen a good deal of that yourself without saying more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Fife, you're like, damn, this place is a fucking bummer.
Yeah, I'm just like, this sucks. What a bad first impression. I'm gonna leave this little dell here.
So Fife, sort of disgusted by this, you turn and you leave. And as you're leaving, you feel a sort of hankering that you haven't had before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're craving meat.
When I make it back to the group, y'all have any food? Hold on, wait, never mind. I'm gonna address Lady I forget names. Sorry. Does she have any? Do they have any food?
You're gonna ask them if they have any food.
Hey, listen, they are forcing me on this journey. They have to provide. Listen, that's some, like, you know, if you want to talk about proper, like, courtesy and fancy, noble shit.
Okay, sure. So, so you're
Taking
asking
me on a long-ass trip against my will and not providing food? Real dick move, in my opinion. Not very courteous, not very noble.
Okay, roll me a persuasion check, Fife. That was pretty good.
And +2 because of the coat, so 17.
17. Okay. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. And so, Fife, you are going to sort of fuss about, you know, saying like, hey, you're bringing me on this fucking trip. Like, you need to feed me.
Yeah, like how long has it been? How long have we been doing this?
At this point, y'all have been traveling for a fairly long time. So, Lady Nyagan is going to sigh. And Irisis sort of says, like, well, they're right, you know. And with this, all of you are going to set up camp. And on top of that, let's see. Let's have an Avern. He will go hunting for food.
Can I go with him?
Sure.
Sweet.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Echo, are you wanting to trail in Avern or sneak off? Or sorry, yeah. Are you wanting to like stealthily trail in Avern, or are you trying to accompany him on the hunt?
I'm trying to accompany him on the hunt. Just, I've never been in this land. I don't know what there is to hunt. I'm just trying to learn.
Okay, interesting.
My curiosity is piqued, you could say.
Okay, interesting. What would the rest of y'all be doing around the campfire, or as camp is being set up? Echo and Avern are going to go out for food.
I want to. So I do want to take the Weaver kit and have a. What is it? Advantage with it?
The what?
Or
I'm sorry?
with Weaver kit? I want to
Oh,
finish the
right,
parachute.
right.
Yeah.
You want to finish the parachute. Okay. Okay, so you're going to wrap up your parachute?
hmm
Did you finish that last session? I feel like
I think I was one roll off. I think I got a 12.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, okay. All right. Fife Luthien, what would you like to do?
So, just staring at the fire while I'm kind of just like waiting
Mm-hmm.
on everyone, I pull out a pair of like really old looking dice out of my coat pocket and illuminate the pips on them. Like, I don't know if that's like prestidigitation or not. I forget. Like, just like a minor effect.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And, just like toss them up in the air repeatedly. That's
Okay.
what I'm doing.
So that's just kind of how you recline.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Cruel. What are you and Fife up to?
I wanted to see if I could get Gymnast away from everyone else and talk to them some more.
Okay.
I will also keep my ear peeked over at the gymnast's cruel conversation.
Okay. 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 So first off, we will. Interesting. Interesting. I will come back to Echo and Inavern. So Luthien, as you're sort of tossing your dice about, Gymnast will be kind of nervously fretting by the fire, and he's going to say,
Well, I've done these sorts of things before, but they've never quite gone this far awry.
Alright.
Yes, and he says, I don't know what makes you two mortals so special, but you've been called from the Feywilds through the Feydark. It's really quite something unusual. I've never really gone this far deep into the wilderness before.
Where do you normally stay?
Personally, I prefer the Feywilds. It's a little dangerous coming here for too long.
It's more chill over there?
Well, it's brighter at the very least. Things are more familiar, at least for my kind. I
Brighter?
imagine it's...
Do you...
yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, I'd imagine liking the light was more of a moth trait, but... Yes. If it's, so is it like... So this is like the Fey Wilderness, right? Sorry, to clarify things. And he's from the Fey...
All right. So
Like, a more civilized area, I'm assuming?
So let
Like a
me
city?
sort of throw this out there. So basically, the way it works is there are the Fey Wilds, which is like kind of this manic, bright, chaotic Fey place where it's always dusk. It's time fluctuates quite a bit.
And it's got the big moon up there that kind of cycles between black light and no light.
So what the Feydark is the sort of like the opposite of it. Whereas the Feywild is sort of more chaotic and manic, the Feydark is more chaotic and demented. And the Feydark tends to feature more like a lot more fungus, Generally a lot more psychological themes.
And Gymnast likes that place more?
No, Gymnast is from the Feywilds.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, so we're okay. Yeah, we're in the Feydark. He wants to go to the
we're in the
Feywilds.
Feydark, and he wants to
We're
go back.
being, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he's very out of place, and then he basically came here to pick up you guys on Metzenvaki's orders, and then got arrested by a bunch of nobles belonging to the Feydark.
Hmm.
So, if we weren't here right now, Gymnast, what would you do to get out of this situation you're in?
Well, if you weren't here right now, I don't think I'd really be here right now either.
No, but you've gotten arrested. We've made camp. One of them is off. Two of them are still here. Not thinking about us. What would you do?
Like,
Okay, let me see for a second. Gymnast is gonna look up at Lady Nyagan and Lady Irisis.
Are they near us? I want to have this conversation where they can't hear us.
No. So the thing
Okay.
is, all of y'all are kind of sitting around a fire,
Mm.
and the moth folk are kind of hanging out up here on this ledge, kind of on the path.
Okay.
And Gymnast looks up at you, looks up at them, and they're sort of engaged with one another, and he looks back at you.
He says, well, if I'm speaking honestly, we're in quite a dangerous situation here. The people here are, like ourselves, somewhat unpredictable, but if you ask me, they're far more, less trustworthy. I think they're all out for themselves, and it can be dangerous trying to escape, but if it were somehow not our fault, if there was some sort of distraction or something, I don't like
an
it.
explosion?
We could well be trapped here for a very long time if we don't find some sort of way, but I don't see how that could be. We can't show any intent to leave. If they find out, we'll be in terrible danger.
Well, you have to have some tricks up your sleeve, don't you?
Am
You
I
couldn't have
hearing
survived
all
this long
this
with
right
nothing.
now?
Yeah, Luthien, you're right here as well. And Luthien, you know this to be true, actually, because you've been trapped here for like 100 years, right?
Yeah.
So
Damn.
So yeah, when earlier you were like, oh yeah, Luthien, he just got banished here. That's not that bad. It's like, no, Luthien's been in the fucking wilderness.
I didn't say it was that bad. I said Luthien is not dead.
True, you're not dead.
Yeah. So, but you have to have some tricks up your sleeve, right, Gymnast?
Not a lot. Admittedly,
You
not
got-
a lot.
You got wings.
Yes. I can
Well,
fly.
they have wings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is it seems like running from things with wings is gonna be kind of difficult.
Do you think you could outrun them?
I am telling you implicitly, no.
With a head start? If they didn't know where you went? Could you hide from them?
I don't think so.
Well, could Gymnast?
Probably, but then
well-
what?
The thing is, I could perhaps escape, but if I ever got caught again, it'd be horrendous for me. Horrendous.
What would they do? Banish you here for 100 years?
No, quite frankly, I don't want anything to do with her. This is a terrible situation.
But
Okay.
you also told us we didn't really have much of a choice in this matter. Also, we probably shouldn't leave Echo. That would be kind of rude, I think.
So yeah, we'll bounce over to Echo, but essentially what had happened when Gymnast told you that was Gymnast cannot take these 3 knights, is not looking to pick a fight with the Winter Court, but is like, no, this is really, really bad. If we actually go to the Winter Court, Gimnis is concerned something will actually happen to you guys. He really wants to get back to the Feywilds. So we can marinate on that a little bit. Bouncing over to Echo and Inavern. Let's see. Let me put y'all here for now. Actually, did we use this map? I don't believe we did. Okay.
Ooh, pretty.
So Inavern and Echo. Okay. So Echo, you and Inavern are sort of just making you're prowling through this this wilderness here. Is there anything in particular you're wanting to know about?
Yeah, I mean, you said this guy's a ranger, right? Or I thought I heard the word ranger. Okay.
Yeah, Lady Nyagan was the ranger. They're all kind of rangers, but kind of not.
Okay, I'm just basically...
Let me think of like a way to put that.
Okay.
Alright, they're like court rangers. They're not like we live in the wilderness rangers.
Ah.
They're like someone who sleeps in a bed but gets sent out like into the wilderness every once in a while. But they're mostly knights.
Okay. Well, I guess kind of regardless, because I wouldn't know that. I came along just to find out like what he's hunting, what the land looks like, maybe ask questions about the land, like why does it move and interact with us, because I haven't been here before. Just learning about what my surroundings are and how to properly interact with them, while also trying to learn what I can hunt and eat here.
Okay. That's a lot. So
I know. Whatever I can get from that, I'll be happy with.
So we'll start with some basics as you're sort of walking along. Inavern, who's actually quite pleasant, is going to give you some basic information. You see that although he's quiet, when asked things, he actually opens up quite a bit. He's going to outline some basic rules of thumb. Anything that you're tempted to stare at is probably made to get you to stare at it. And be careful. He's essentially saying, like, be careful what you give your attention to. Don't focus on anything too long if it exists out in the wilderness. Avoid anything that really grabs your attention. As far as plants go, he shows you some basic rules about the Feywild. So like he goes over to a tree stump, right? And it's sort of hollow underneath. And actually, no, he wouldn't be able to do that because he's not familiar with. It would be harder for him to draw certain comparisons about physics, so he's not going to demonstrate that. Oh, okay.
That's okay. I'll take whatever I can get from this guy. I'm a beginner, so.
Right. So surviving in the Feydark when it comes to what to eat. Okay. So generally, you're going to see him sort of stick to certain types of fungus. Let's actually make a quick roll 2d20s and just see which way we go. right. So he's sort of attempting to show you things that you can eat, but every time he shows you something that is like potentially something that y'all can eat, it turns out to be dangerous or sort of unpredictably poisonous, or it turns out to not be a plant and some sort of small creature. And you can see it requires a great deal of patience to actually survive out here. Ultimately, the two of you are going to come across a creature. Let's say actually this is a ledge up here, right? And y'all are looking down this way. And we're gonna put... Let's see. Let me grab a monster real quick.
Oh boy.
One second. Loading monster.
Of the things you mentioned that were poisonous, can I just collect one random one in one of my milk jug jars?
Sure. Sure, yeah. Absolutely. So you get one of these like glowing root things,
Awesome.
and it sort of writhes around like a worm as you pluck it from the ground.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So, Echo, you and Inavern are sort of prowling on this ledge when you come across two of these things kind of down below you, and they're not quite aware of you, but they appear to sort of be prowling about looking for something to eat. And Inavern sort of crouches low, and he sort of warns you, like, we have to kill these things quickly, because otherwise they will step away in the blink of an eye, and they could be upon us in an instant. It's dangerous prey, but it'll feed all of us.
Alright. Are we actually gonna RP this, or do you just want to kind of sum up what happens?
Okay, sure. Are you essentially just going to do a hunt? Do a hunt with Inavern?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a hunt with Inavern. I mean, if we want to go into detail, maybe I'll take the farther one because I don't know, but we could.
It's all good. All
But
good.
yeah, I'm going on a hunt with him to get food and collect
All
things.
right. So we'll fast forward through all this.
I don't want to like do a battle, you know.
Gotcha. Okay, so then in that case, we will bounce back to camp. And after a while, Inavern and Echo will return in generally pretty high spirits. And they have brought with them a super dead, rather large panther creature, which they are carrying between the two of them. An Echo, or rather Fife, you will notice that this creature has like these really wide set horns, and they look pretty akin to what you were looking for your bow, although slightly different. You don't have to use this, but if you like, you could use these horns as crafting materials.
Maybe. Is the dead, like, that's a corpse they're bringing back, right? For food?
Yeah. So they sort of they don't waltz back into camp, but they re-enter camp with a good deal of food here.
Cool. Did I finish my my other one? Had that in the thing. Hold on.
Did you finish which thing?
Explosive arrow successes.
Oh no.
Am I able to make more explosive arrows?
Let's see. Cruel's working on his parachute. Yeah, you can work on the explosive arrows if you like while they're out hunting. For that matter, Luthien, would you like to work on anything while you
I'm
were
wait-
sitting by the fire talking to Gibbons?
I'm gonna wait for. So wait, okay. So according to Gimnus, these people are in no connection to the Winter Court.
No, these people are nobles of the Winter Court, and he doesn't want to interact with the Winter Court because he's afraid of the Winter Court.
Oh, okay. So that's his personal problem.
Yes, but you also understand pretty personally as well that the Winter Court is unpredictable, and you can like randomly be punished in really shitty ways.
Yep. But my goal is to see them, unlike Mr. What's his name?
Gimnus.
Gimnus.
Gotcha.
I kept trying to say Gimli for some reason.
Gimli. Got you. Okay, so so Cruel, were you still wanting to sort of get Gimnus away from like kind of out of sight?
Well, maybe we all need to get away from what Gimnus said. We have a bunch of poison, don't we? Fife has a bunch of poison.
Yes, you do have a bunch of poison. Fife and Echo both have a lot of poison.
Well, we're about to eat a big meal with everybody.
Why do you want to kill so bad?
I don't want to. We don't need to kill. Do you have any poison
Everyone-
that makes people go to sleep?
Well, maybe.
We can feed them some of that.
So just so we're clear, the Gimnus was saying as long as you can escape and not be found again, it's okay. You just don't want to be found again.
Yeah.
Well, corpses can't find things again, but
Well, that's you. I'm not saying we need to kill them.
I'm just saying, don't half-ass things, whole-ass things. Like,
Okay.
but also, why are you? I don't know. Why are you taking Gimnus up on his word about how bad the people? Listen, they're a little rude, but they seem amenable to the nobles such as ourselves.
Yeah, but you lied about that.
No, I didn't.
No, yeah, that part wasn't true. So,
No, I've been chosen by a god. Probably.
Okay. Probably.
Are you saying this quietly?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
we're-
this is
we're
loud.
not
top
shouting
of my
at each
yeah.
other.
Yeah, I know. I'm like whispering, but like angrily whispering, like, shut up. No. Your voice down.
Okay, so Sir and Avern will begin like preparing this thing. Echo, what would you like to be doing? Are you joining them while they're doing all this?
I think after coming back, if they kind of look at the group, I think they'll actually be kind of interested in what Luthien's doing, because he's just chilling, throwing dice by himself, which looks kind of odd. So I'm interested in that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I am a little curious about Luthien's dice situation as well. But yeah, so Luthien, how do you feel about all this? What do you think of the situation?
Hey, Ignis? How do you say his name?
Can y'all see these names on the screen?
Yeah, I can see him. He's
Are
gymnast.
y'all not on this?
Oh,
Okay.
gymnast. Oh, okay.
Gymnast, yeah.
Gymnast.
The only name I can't see is the one with the beast.
Never.
Eyebrows.
Gymnast
Ah.
is my only ticket
There we go.
to seeing the Winter Queen, and I must get there at all costs.
Yeah, gymnast, why do you want to deprive Luthien of his main path?
Well, I don't want to deprive Luthien of his main path. If you'd like to go, Luthien, I'm certainly not going to stop you. I just think it's worrisome. All of this is quite worrisome.
Do I know
You
the
seem
way
like
there
a
without
worry
him?
wart.
I'm surprised you're not worried, quite frankly. This is a terrible situation.
How do I know you're not lying to me?
Well, roll me an insight check.
Yeah, let's see that.
Roll me an insight check, but
+2 though, so that's the 11. No, this wisdom. Never mind. I'm still dumb as shit.
okay, so 9. Well, as far as you can tell, Fife, Gymnast does seem like a bit of a worrywart, but Gymnast also does seem to be telling the truth, and it's consistent with Luthien's story as well. Luthien sounds like he wants to see the queen, although Luthien, I'm not sure that you've really said why, and it's pretty dangerous of you to want to see the queen.
Well, seeing that it's been 100 years, maybe I can ask for forgiveness.
It's always worth a shot. You miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky, you represent.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky. I had no idea he said that.
Well, that's all well and good. I hope it's worth... I hope that maybe you will be enough of a distraction for the queen that we can just be on our way as quickly as possible.
I get it. Be on your way. Okay.
Ah.
Sort of flitters his wings. So you there, my rather large friend, sort of asking you, Cruel, how do you fit into all of this?
Was that to me? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I am. Well, see, there's a town, that I'm supposed to be at, and, it's about to be destroyed, so, not really sure what I'm doing here,
Town.
but...
Well, we
Yeah.
were supposed to be figuring something
But
out.
we're gonna figure something out because I have to be at that town.
Well, are you
Hey,
not
listen,
here to
this-
meet with Lord Metzenvaki?
Hmm.
That's what I came all this way for.
I mean, it seems as good a lead as anything, but no, I mean, I didn't know Metzenvaki existed until you said that.
No,
So?
but you bear his blessing.
He sort of like gestures towards your hands, Cruel.
I look at
Oh,
my
you
hands
see
and they
those
look normal.
too.
Yeah, they're just normal hands for you, Cruel.
Yeah. No.
But yes, Fife, Gymnast sees it too, and Gymnast sort of cocks his head quizzically. He says,
Well, that's very strange.
Does Metzenvaki give like startling visions, debilitating to people? Is that a Metzenvaki thing?
Yes, my understanding is Metzenvaki has to employ illusions quite frequently due to the need to communicate between planes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
Sounds like
Metzenvaki.
excuses to me.
Yeah,
He
they-
sent me
they
a
suck.
bug once, and it just talked to me. So, like, you could just continue doing that.
yes, he also
Little messenger
employs
pigeons.
the wasps as well, the messengers.
Okay.
Speaking
well,
of which, I really hope one would come along, at
It
some
would be
point here.
convenient, if one of us had one of those in a bottle and Hatton had a certain turn of conscience at the last second to free them. Would have been good.
Oh my god, that's so true. That's true. Damn. Well. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well.
That's what I get for doing the right thing.
I'll always hold on to everything. Well, I do have one more thing that could probably get us out of this situation.
What's that?
I pull out
No,
the
it
orb
won't.
from my jacket.
Oh, okay,
Oh
never mind.
god.
I thought you were gonna pull out your parachute.
But
That's
I would,
what happened.
I kind of don't want to use it, if at all possible.
Echo.
Maybe you, Gymnast.
Echo.
Question.
You remember, real quick, Echo, you remember how I mentioned you could see like black smoke wafting off of the homunculus?
Yes.
This strange, like, this cobalt sphere? Is cobalt like dark green? Am I thinking that?
I was-
No,
Like
it's a dark
green?
blue.
Is it
Blue.
dark blue?
Cobalt's
Okay.
like a brilliant blue, but it can be very deep as well.
Okay, I always imagine this as being like a deep, like almost black green, but I always said cobalt, so we'll stick with that. So you can see that this stone orb that Cruel is in possession of is just wafting off of this black smoke.
How big is it?
Fits in my hand.
Yeah, it's about the size of a.
You have massive hands.
Yeah, Cruel does have massive hands, but it's.
Right, does it fit in your hand like a quarter, or does it fit in your hand like a bowling ball?
No, it's like an orb you would ponder.
Yeah, it's
Excuse
like the
me?
size of like a fist, like my fist
Okay.
inside of Cruel's giant fucking hand.
Okay.
Like a softball.
Yeah, like a softball. Yeah,
Can
a
I
little
do some
bigger.
sort of insight check on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, sure. You can roll an insight check. What are you investigating?
Have I heard about this thing? Does this thing remind me of anything else? Is it magical? Is it like me? 18.
Okay. So Echo. There's a lot of things here you recognize. You don't know that it's necessarily like you. Let me think about that.
Okay.
Because the homunculus spoke to you in a language only you understood, that you like intuitively understood. And you saw the black smoke wafting off of that thing too. That's about as much of a connection you'd currently be able to draw. Because you don't really understand too much about the homunculus. Shit, what else did you ask?
If it was magical and
If it was magical, do you recognize something like this?
if I would remember any stories about this or something similar to this.
Okay, so I will say, particularly because of the sort of things that the Crimson Rite does, this sort of thing looks like an artifact of some kind, but the way it wafts off that power, that black abyssal smoke, you have seen this before in the targets of like jobs that you've been sent on, and you've been sent to acquire items that sort of wafted smoke in a similar manner before, where you've like been sent, killed the target, retrieved such a thing. However, you've never associated such things with yourself before.
Gotcha. And I don't associate this with myself either.
I mean, at this point, the only connection you could draw is that it smokes the way the homunculus did.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Right.
Okay.
So that being said, you recognize it as an object of black magic. It is alarming to you. However, that's about, you're alarmed because you kind of recognize to some extent what it is, but you have no idea what it actually does. you can just sense this about it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
Gemnis, on the other hand, is sort of going to cock its head, and Luthien and Fife, you know to some extent what this is.
We found that
I-
in the box in the attic, right?
Yes.
Somewhere?
I don't know
Yeah,
if
that
Kroll
one.
told anyone what it actually was because he went and took the time to figure
Ponder
out.
it?
Yeah. But Kroll's essentially just holding out this dark blue sphere, and he's like, I've got this.
So what's the deal? You gonna like throw it at them? What does it do? We just found a. I remember this orb. I don't remember much about the orb. You never told me.
Yes, where did you find such a thing? I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, you know that the house that burnt down came a weird tree. We
Yes.
yeah, we found it like in the box somewhere in the attic.
It was just in a box in an attic?
Mm-hmm.
Like we had the
Among yeah, yeah.
It had the book in there too that exploded.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Important book. Probably could have been useful.
Yeah.
Do you remember
But,
what else was in that box by chance?
Oh, absolutely not.
There was also a long, withered, deformed, and inhuman forearm.
Oh
did one
yeah,
of us
that's
keep that?
very thing.
Do you have that?
Y'all
I don't
threw
know,
it.
do you have that?
Threw it at
At the tree.
at Arden when you confronted
no.
him in
Oh yeah.
the bar.
Okay.
He
Okay.
like slammed it on the table.
Yeah, I remember. What did we
I
do with it
didn't-
after that?
Did you? I don't remember what you would have done. So I think Fife might actually still have that forearm.
I have a sudden memory. Hold on, and I go digging in my bag, and I pull out the weird, freaky beef jerky soul or arm.
It's pretty disgusting looking for all
Yeah.
of you. It's like a mummified, gnarled, gross looking arthritis hand.
It looks disgusting.
Does it have any
There's
black
like a-
stuff?
No, but there is an
Yes,
amethyst stuff to it.
Echo.
Hold on, let me.
Echo, you would see this thing is drenched in black smoke as well. And this is in Fife's possession. Although Fife doesn't really seem to know what it is.
Interesting.
I guess I didn't think to cast Identify on that one. So, okay, whatever. It's just an arm.
Cruel, what you recall about the arm was that it was the result of a pact.
Ah. Okay. Yeah,
But
so...
you didn't know any more about it.
Yeah. But I do know that this orb would summon a very powerful creature that I may or may not be able to control.
Doubt you'll be able to control it.
I mean, 50-50. It's either I can or I can.
That's how that works, yeah.
Yeah. So really last resort situation, but we could use it to escape.
We could do it in front of the queen, that'd be really funny.
Something would happen if we did that.
Probably a bad idea. Listen, you said last resort. One of us seems to be very interested in taking a second shot at redemption with the queen, I guess. And if all else fails, Demon Core.
Okay. The Demon Core. But that's if we have another way out, or if we just want to go meet the queen, I'm amenable to it.
Thoughts on?
Yeah, Cruel is pretty confident that even if shit hits the fan, I could just kind of walk out of the situation and be okay.
Okay. Okay.
An unfounded confidence, but a confidence nonetheless.
Okay. Alright, so y'all are wanting to meet the queen.
Yes.
Seems interesting. I'll try anything once.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So, that night, as everybody is kind of resting and gathering from your long trek in the Feydark, you're all kind of resting together. And I need who would be sleeping last?
I'm in a trance.
Like, who
I'm
would
not
go straight to
sure.
sleep, out of curiosity?
So it would be one of them.
Sorry, what are you up to, Luthien?
I said I'd be in a trance, not actually sleeping. I don't know if that counts.
Oh,
Just
true,
sleep.
true.
I imagine Cruel is probably unbothered and falls asleep pretty quickly. In his natural environment, passed out laying down on the stairs.
Okay.
Echo might watch from up above for a little while.
Alright. Fife. What about you?
I don't know, I'm probably just chilling for the moment, but I'll probably go to sleep eventually.
Okay. Echo. Make me a perception check.
$11.
11. Okay.
Yep.
So, Echo, as you are kind of snoozing up here, you don't quite catch it. It's just sort of out of the corner of your eye, but you will notice a little smoky black just murmur here. Let me see if I can. Let's do smoke first. Yeah, so it's just like a little. It's not quite that big, but.
Does it look like the black smoke that emanates off of the orb and other things? Or does this look different?
No, it's just sort of like a little. Actually, no, you're correct. It is the same sort of black smoke. It's just like a brief kind of pocket of it that's sort of just above Cruel's head, kind of off the stairs up near this railing right here. And it's just something you catch before you go to sleep.
Oh,
But
okay,
Cruel,
okay.
you can do whatever you'd like to do, but Cruel is not aware of it. He is asleep. You do not have to do anything about it. It's just balls in your court on that one.
I think if I saw that, I would probably stay awake for a little bit longer, see if I see it again.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make me a Constitution save, Echo, to stay awake the longest.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh shoot, what's my call? Oh, I had to do one of these. Okay. We got 11 again.
Okay. So I'll say this, Echo. Once it starts getting late, you're not going to get a great glimpse of it. But for just the briefest moment, you're going to catch a glimpse of a brief image of some motion before something sort of notices you and slips away. And again, it kind of slips into this dark, smoky pocket.
Okay. And then I drift off to sleep.
Oh shit, I'm getting a call.
Oh, you're getting a call?
Okay, Echo. So, before that happened, you had essentially caught another glimmer of movement out of the corner of your eye. You'd stayed up late, and after a long enough moment, you'd seen something very briefly that again disappeared into this pocket of shadow. You weren't able to get a great look at it, but after a while, or what did you want to do at that point? Were you
I
just
think
gonna
after-
snooze it off, or?
I think after seeing it for the second time, it saw me and disappeared again. So I'm confident in knowing that it wasn't a dream, and I'm satisfied with that, and I was going to go to sleep.
Okay. All right, so you go ahead and snooze it off.
Yep.
And Echo, this would be the first night, even though it has been a very eventful day. You are exhausted from your trek, and you find yourself falling into troubled sleep as you're... damn it. Alright, hang on one second, y'all. I got a private number call and then it hung up. We'll see if they call
I was about to say, what a cliffhanger. We'll see if they call back.
Yeah, we'll see if they call me one more time. Oh shit. Bring me back. What was I saying?
You said I fell into a troubled sleep.
Yes, you fall into a troubled sleep. You're sort of reviewing everything that happened over this past day, and your mind keeps returning to this situation with Cruel, where you were so close to having that conversation with that homunculus, and then everything sort of turned sour. And as you're thinking this, like even in your sleep, you're sort of reliving this moment. And as you're reliving it and you're sort of dreaming it, it's slightly different. You're a little more frustrated than you recall. And when you think about this opportunity that was ruined for you, you're filled with this spiteful fury. And can I have Fife make me a wisdom save? And Luthien, can you make me a wisdom save as well?
Let me go check if Life can do that for you.
Oh, sure thing. Echo, as you're dreaming about this moment that you had, your dream sort of becomes a nightmare. And Fife, who rolled extremely well on that, is going to suddenly start awake. Actually, do we have Fife with us? This might be premature.
Yeah, sorry. I was
No worries at all.
I'm back.
Okay, so
I
no
had
worries
muted
at
for
all.
a sec. I was listening though. I heard you guys.
Fife, you are going to start awake Sorry, Lucian's in a trance, rather. To find you and the party surrounded by these little dark, wispy creatures. And here, I'll kind of show you all what these things look like.
Have I seen those before?
Luthien, you have seen these before, but not very often. Roll me a nature check. You're pretty good at these.
Nature.
Okay. So, Luthien, what these are little emotion sprites. And they have been drawn by feelings of, like, frustration or distrust. And this is not something that you typically deal with quite as much, Luthien, because as per your culture, and particularly in order to control your magic, you have to keep a pretty tight rein on yourself. But you immediately recognize these, having woken up to a few of these yourself plenty of times. And you see, looking across the fire, that they're sort of like pilfering through your bags. They're kind of whispering in Cruel's ear over here. And looking up towards Echo on the mushroom, you see there's several of them sort of swimming through the air about Echo's head, sort of whispering into their ears as they sleep.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile and split 3 of them amongst the 3 that I see closest to the party members.
Oh shit, okay, so which 3?
This one, and this one. Oh wait, hon, there's one above Echo too. I'll get rid of this one, or attack this one, and this one.
Okay.
Do I have that button? No, this is Lance's buttons. Shit. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't have buttons for him. I'll just have to type it in. So do I roll for Magic Missile? Do I roll 3 times or just once for all 3?
Yes, you roll. I think per the way the spell is written, you roll once for all 3. But I don't know. I kind of prefer rolling 3 times. It's up to you.
Okay.
I don't really care that much.
Okay, here's the other 2. Do all those hit?
Let's see. What did you roll? Those D20s?
Yeah.
Oh, so Magic Missile automatically hits.
Oh, okay.
And it's D4s you're rolling. So we just need 34.
This is +1 for this. So, okay. Why does it do it like that? Oh, never mind. So, if I roll 1d4, do I have to roll that for each one, or does it just take the damage from one roll?
So it'll take that and apply it to each one. So ping me one more time who you're shooting at, or just use your arrows.
This one, and this one, and this one.
Okay. Okay. So with this, all of these creatures sort of shriek in unison, and you are going to see several more of them kind of manifest into the air around all of you. And alarmed at this, and especially as the spell goes off and fires into these things, Gymnus, Cruel, Echo, the three of you are jolted awake.
Okay.
And these three moth people up here are going to come dropping down, alarmed. And they will kind of descend on their next turn here as they all kind of fall down. Okay. Alright. So, let's go ahead and roll some initiative.
Crap, I need buttons for the sky. I can't use lances because it's not the same.
Oh yeah, you'll need to configure that.
My initiative is 5.
Your initiative is +5, or it just
No,
is 5?
I rolled a 5 for my
Oh,
initiative.
gotcha. Okay. And then we've got these little things in here. Okay, so from the top. Whoa. We've got 20. Okay. From the top, we have Cruel Parrington.
Do I remember anything they were saying to me?
The things that were sort of whispering you? No, they were keeping you all asleep until they got attacked.
Okay. Well then I'm going to... How do I... This one. I'm going to Thunder Smite it.
Okay.
I'm going to press the Divine Smite button because I don't have a Thunder Smite button. It's the same
So
thing.
Cruel, you wake up to this little
Yeah.
not goblin, but this little creature sort of ferreting through your pockets.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just immediately gonna sit up and grab my staff and fucking whack it.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So yeah, you sort of bring your staff down and it crushes into the stone next to you as this thing sort of like scampers away, cackling. All right. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
No. I'll cast Guidance on Fife.
On Fife?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Fife. You're actually not close enough to Fife to do that.
Okay,
Unless
then
you
I
want
won't.
to move over there.
Will these things get opportunity if I do that?
Yes, if you were to move away from them, yeah.
Okay, then I'll just chill out.
Okay. All right. Gymnus is going to wake up and kind of seeing these things around him, is going to make a couple of attacks here. Oh wow, holy shit. Okay. Apparently Gymnus is a G.
I hope so.
It certainly seems that way.
He's an insect wielding a samurai sword.
So yes, he's going to, starting awake, he's going to slay this little creature to his left, and then turning to the one on the right, he is going to do the same thing. And as he does so, they sort of bleed purple smoke, which rather than like dissipating in the air, just sort of like hovers and sits sort of still in the air. And they kind of shriek and like kind of wriggle and writhe, and then suddenly lay still. And you see, actually, sorry. I'll just move on from there. From there, Gimnus is going to shout, "Sprites! Sprites! Everyone wake up quickly!" Alright, next up is Echo.
You
What would
awake?
you like to do? Yeah, everyone's awake at this point.
Mhm.
Echo, you wake up to find 3 of these things sort of like swimming through the air about you.
Alright, I think instinctively I just go for my dagger and I attack one.
Alright, you can see that one is wounded.
I can or I cannot?
You can.
I can. Okay. I'm not going to attack the wounded one. I'm going to attack the healthy one next to it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your first hit.
Alrighty. On my little knife. Okay. Oh shit. Oh my goodness. I don't think I... Okay, that's okay.
Oh,
Holy
wow.
shit.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Nat 20.
So you pink missed one of these things right out of the air.
Alright, so for my bonus action,
Uh-huh.
I will turn to the injured one and grapple it, or attempt to grapple it.
Can you grapple as a bonus action?
Can. I looked.
You
I think we must have talked about this because I wrote it in my notes. It's on my D&D Beyond.
Okay, sure. Then in that case, you grapple it. Oh, I know why you can do this. Okay, yes, you can do this. Alright. Alright.
And then I'm just going to sit with it in my arms for a round.
Okay.
Because that's in my turn.
So, clutching this thing, you actually can see Echo as you're holding onto it. It's only kind of like half tangible.
Oh.
It's sort of like this smoky, wispy kind of creature. Its mask and its body are more solid and kind of furry, but smoke sort of pours out of its eyes, and its tail sort of fades into this smoke itself. So you're just sort of clutching this thing here.
Yes, I'm grappling it, keeping it from going anywhere at the moment.
Okay, heard that. So, Cruel, these things down here around you are going to attempt to put you back down to sleep. Can you make me a couple of wisdom saves?
Ooh. Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, okay. So both of those are going to fail. This little creature here who had evaded you the first time is going to leap forward and attempt to slash you.
Good fucking luck.
Okay, and it is unsuccessful in doing so, Cruel.
Mhm.
Alright, this last one here next to Fife is going to attempt to send Fife to sleep. Fife, can you make me a wisdom save, please?
9.
as it sort of breathes smoke into your face. Okay, so Fife, as this thing turns and like gushes smoke into your face,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to go down.
Night.
That being said, the next turn is your turn, so go ahead and roll me another wisdom save.
Cool. 5.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Okay. So you, Luthien, Gymnus, and Cruel, you all watch as Fife sort of like crumples down here as these things sort of like swim. And Luthien, this thing, some of these sprites that are around you in response, you are going to see them sort of lose interest in you and kind of dash over here to Fife, who is asleep. Yep, okay. Alright, so next up is Lady Nyagan, who is going to drop down here next to you, Echo. And as she does, she is going to make an aerial attack against this one here. And that will hit for... Okay, she's going to kill this one as well, which is just going to sort of fall, and then after falling about this far, just sort of stops mid-space, hovers, and dies. And as Nyaga lands next to you, Echo, she's going to say, "Sprites, quickly! We've got to get away from here before more come."
So our best plan of action is to run.
And she says, yes, let's get out of here now.
Alright, let's help the others. I've got this one, you get the others. Then we'll run.
Okay, and you're still sort of clutching this one.
Yeah.
Alright, so sort of nodding, she is going to dive off of here as she makes her way down towards Fife here. And landing, she will end her turn. Okay. Inavern, meanwhile, is going to leap down here towards Lucian. And he is going to help you, Lucian, and attack this sprite here. Oh, but he is not going to have a whole lot of luck hitting it. Okay, and next up is Irsis. She's going to descend down here next to Fife and attempt to help Fife. And succeed in slaying one of these. Alright. Now, these things next to you, Luthien, are going to make a couple of attacks against you. Actually, it's going to make one against Innabear and one against you. Okay, and neither of these are going to hit, unfortunately. Lance is still up here. Isidore's not here. And Echo, the thing that you are holding is going to attempt to escape.
Is this a contested strength or what is this?
Yes, this is contested athletics.
Athletics. Oh, come on, please. Not good chances. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, dang. Okay. Alright, so it is unable to escape. Its compatriots are dead, so everyone is going back to the top of the round.
I didn't get to go after the... I rolled a 5 on the table.
Oh,
I don't have a button, so it doesn't put me in the thing.
Alright, are you able to right-click yourself and add a turn, or no?
Yeah, but you don't understand. The token is registered under Lance. It'll just throw me in as Lance. Is that alright? Well, actually, no, that won't be alright.
No,
my
it
deck...
won't. It won't. I got you. So I've added you as Luthien. So, what would you like to do, Luthien? There are 3 on the ground around you. And you hear Nyagan giving orders for everybody to abandon the area. Luthien, you know that these things will keep reappearing as well. They've sort of become drawn to a spot, like an area, and they are going to sort of accumulate there.
I'm reading through. So escape is a thing. I yell out for everyone to, I guess, run north. Hoping these things don't understand common.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast darkness on the spot they're accumulating.
Oh shit, okay. So you're casting darkness on like all of this right here, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 15 by 15 cube?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say that is enough that it basically is going to fill all of this here kind of up till beneath this. So Echo, you're going to sort of hear Luthien issue this command. And on top of that, you're going to see this large black shadowy cube sort of fill this open space as it sort of springs from the ground. Luthien, can you roll me 2d20s?
Alright.
Okay, no sweat. Alright, so everything in this area becomes essentially blacked out. Where's my darkness? Here we go. Alright. Everyone go ahead and roll me initiative if you haven't already done so. Alright, way to go, Mac.
I will now roll another 5 and remain asleep.
Jeez, I sure hope not. I sure freaking hope not.
It'd be very funny.
That would not be a good thing, because you're not easy to see in the middle of all of that.
True.
Okay. Alright. So, has everyone re-rolled?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. That's 1, 2, 5. Yeesh. Okay, so from the top, first up is Fife. Fife, go ahead and roll that wisdom save.
6.
Uh-oh. Okay. So, Fife, you remain asleep for the time being. Gymnus, unable to see in the dark, is going to attempt to sprint north. Let me see. But Gymnus does not know which way north is. So Gymnus is going to run blindly in this direction. Alright. And that's going to be his turn. Cruel, you're up. What would you like to do?
I think Echo's after Gymnus.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I just realized, yeah.
No, Cruel and Echo are both 20. Oh, there's two Cruels.
No.
Uh,
No,
Okay,
I got a
but-
17.
Okay, heard that.
I got a 19.
Yeah,
So
okay.
just try and run out of the cube. Run in whatever direction y'all want. There's
Yeah,
no
I went ahead and
card.
deleted the second Cruel, so Echo, you're up.
Okay. Do I see any of the party at the moment?
You are above them. You would see Gymnus, like, sort of sprinting out of this black cube that just appeared here.
Okay. I'm going to quickly turn my back just for a little extra cover and collect this sprite.
Collect the sprite.
Yes.
I'm more of a coke guy.
Gotcha. Okay. Alright. Okay. Do you collect it in the way I'm thinking that you're collecting this?
I sure do.
Okay. Alright. So, Echo. Let me check something real quick. Go ahead and make me another... Go ahead and make me another grapple check.
Sure. Grapples, yeah, strength, right.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay, so what else would you like to do with your turn?
Do I feel any different?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well then I will turn around, see Gymnus running.
Mm-hmm.
Assume they know where they're going and lunge in their direction to
Okay.
run with them because I know we're supposed to run.
Okay, perfect. So you leap off this way.
As I'm
Yeah.
yes. As that's happening, can I speak to it?
To Gymnus? Sure.
No. To the sprite.
Oh. Yes, actually you can.
So it hears it hears in its head, what is your purpose? That's what it hears.
Okay. Echo, roll me an insight check.
5. Super insightful.
So what you get in response isn't a spoken thing, but you get a clustered combination of emotions. You feel hunger. You feel fear, a sense of panic. You feel a sort of an insatiable kind of craving. So, like, not just a wet appetite, but like a deep yearning. And you feel all of these things kind of in combination. And you're not really able to suss out what is what with that 5.
So it's a pretty chaotic bundle of emotions and feelings.
It's a chaotic bundle of emotions. If you wanted to, you could discern them at a later point. But for the time being, you just get like a clustered response of feelings alone.
Okay. All right. And I think I did that. I think that's my turn.
Okay. In that case, Cruel, it is now your turn.
Okay, I want to start my turn by casting Heartbeat, which allows me to sense the heartbeat of anything within 30 meters of me.
Okay.
So I can sense these two down here, and
So-
I can sense that Fife is the one sleeping, because the heartbeat would be different for a sleeping person.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna run over, pick up Fife, and get the fuck as far away as I can in this direction.
Alright, perfect. So, make me... Let me see. As you're moving away, you're going to take a few attacks of opportunity.
Can they do them even though they can't see me?
Yes.
Okay.
However, they would be doing them at disadvantage.
Cool.
Wow, but they still rolled pretty high. What's your AC?
19.
Oh, wow. Okay, no, you're fine. Holy shit. Alright, so you go over. Go ahead and make me an athletics check. 5, I assume you're not trying to resist. Actually, 5's asleep.
I don't think I could if I wanted to.
No, 5's asleep. That's right. So, Cruel, you are able easily enough to...
15.
Yeah, with that 15, you're able to pick up Fife, and you are just going to bolt out of there in the direction of the other two.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I have like 20 something move left, so I get right here.
Okay, perfect. So you were able to get Fife out of there. Meanwhile, these things are going to swarm Lady Nyagan and begin assailing her, as several more of these begin manifesting in the area. All right. Okay. Not too bad. Alright. Lady Series. Actually go north. She is going to head out the opposite direction. Luthien, what would you like to do? You actually know which way is north.
So I can see through this with my dark vision, right? This cloud.
You actually cannot, not unless you have Devil
Oh.
Sight.
Oh, okay. Alright, just making sure. Do I know Fife is asleep?
Last you saw Fife was asleep.
Do I know the general direction that he's in?
Last you saw Fife was on the ground in front of you here.
I would like to attempt to cast a spell magic in that direction.
So you're trying to dispel a small area? A concentrated area?
If I could.
Oh,
That's
I
a
see.
magical effect.
I see. Okay, so you're feeling about for Fife, but you will not be able to locate Fife. And I I would say you're probably gonna spend your action doing that, but that's okay because that makes perfect sense. Is there anything you'd like to do with your bonus action or your movement? Because Kroll kind of yoinked Fife out of there already,
Oh, I didn't.
but there's
I wasn't-
no way for you to know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna run too.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and let's see. That's gonna be 1, 2, 3. What's your AC, Luthien?
Weak, like 12 or oh, it's 14.
14. Ooh. Okay. Alright, you are going to take a total of 14 damage, Luthien,
Oh.
as these little sprites slash at you on your way out. But as you emerge from the darkness, as you sort of like burst out through this wall of blackness, you find Lady Aceres on the other side, who's sort of like, you can see the concern on her face as she looks in expectantly, waiting for Inavarin and Yagin to come out. Inavarin, meanwhile, has got to deal with these two things, who are going to begin spawning more around him. Okay.
Looks like it's curtains for our moth friends.
So, Inavarin, knowing what these things are, is going to disengage and fly directly upwards to try and get a better idea of what is going on. From the top, he can see the two groups here and here, and Lady Nyagin, who is overwhelmed, is going to do the exact same thing. At this point, there is a very clear, loud sort of rumbling that gathers in intensity, and it's very, very loud. It's coming from like one particular direction and growing closer as it comes this way. But it's sort of like this loud, buzzing, like, I want to say it's like a low roar, but almost more like the roar an audience makes and less like the roar a lion makes, if that makes sense. Sounds like a great number of voices.
I think it's time to get out of here.
At the sound of all this, Lady Nyagin shouting down at Cruel, Echo, and Fife. She's going to say, "Fly, mortals! Use your wings!"
We
Fife,
don't have them.
make me a wisdom save.
Who? Oh,
Fife.
Fife.
Oh yeah.
Echo, you shout back that y'all don't have them.
yeah.
Yeah.
11.
Fife. That's fine. Fife. At this point, 11 will do.
Okay.
So, you can see rising concern between Yagin and Inavarin up there. And they say, "There's a storm coming! Quickly teleport, something! You must take shelter! Get away!" They're trying to instruct you, but you have no idea what they're talking about.
What did I miss? I'm very groggy.
Hmm.
That seems
Oh.
bad.
How far away is this mushroom here?
That mushroom, not terribly far away.
Can
Say
I jump there?
it's probably maybe 25 feet from where you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna leap up there. I'm gonna go towards her. Do my
Oh.
best to follow wherever she goes.
Okay, so
Lady Young. How do you say her name? Youngin?
Nyagan.
Youngin, got it.
So, Echo, looking up here, you can actually see what looks like some sort of swirling, angry cloud off in the distance this way.
Uh-huh.
And it's headed rapidly to all of you. And as this angry storm approaches, the moths are all going to lift off, kind of in a panic. Trying to tell you all to like flee, right? But very rapidly, there is going to be a swarm of locusts that are rapidly approaching like an angry dark cloud. But all of these locusts are laughing.
Gonna hide.
And this laughing cloud sort of swarms in. Echo, you're hiding?
Yeah, I think that's the best I can do, yeah.
Okay.
Is there any sort of like hole in any of the roots that I could maybe try and jam me and Fife into?
A hole in some roots.
Actually, you know what? Just looking at the ground, is there like a dip in the ground?
Yeah, there's a dip in the ground.
Okay, I'm going to throw Fife into the dip in the ground and then grab my parachute out of my pack and throw it on top of us and get in the hole.
Okay, so you jump in a hole.
Mhm.
Okay.
With a tarp over the top of us.
Okay. So in a panic, you're all going to hear Gimnis saying, "Together! Together!" as he sort of frantically runs and sort of huddles near the hole.
Gimnis has wings! Get out of here! Can Gimnis not fly?
Gimnis can fly.
Well then what the fuck? Go, Gimnis, fly!
But you guys jumped in a
Whoa!
hole.
Get out of here, you stupid idiot!
You stupid.
I genuinely think Gimnis has a better chance flying.
So Gimnis is shrieking to stay together. And
Okay, I
has,
let
like-
Gimnis in the hole then, I guess.
are you gonna let Gimnis in the
Gimnis can come in the hole.
Okay. Realistically, I think what would happen is Gimnis is going to as Gimnis like huddles near the hole, and the moth people are going to see this. Luthien and Echo, what are you going to do? Echo, you're going to see Gimnis sort of shrieking this and jumping in with Cruel and Fife as they sort of like try and take. They huddle together in this hole.
The hole's just open to the sky. There's no cover over it. It's just
No, I
It's
threw
a
the
dip
tarp
in the
over.
ground. Yeah, it's just a hole, and he's kind of covering them with some cloth.
How deep is the hole?
It's not deep. It's like a dent in the ground.
They're just like
They're just
Well,
laying down and covering themselves with a cloth.
what the fuck? By the sound of it, like daggers are gonna rain from the sky.
It's a treated tarp, it's
no.
not just a cloth.
Yeah. So y'all don't actually know what's going to occur, but there's this storm of these laughing locusts which are sort of like sweeping in like an angry cloud, right? Fife and Cruel sort of take shelter under Cruel's parachute. Gimnis freaks out, sprints over near Fife and Cruel. Echo, you see this. The moth people are freaking out. They're flying up here, shouting at you all to like go somewhere or fly or teleport. Luthien and Echo, what would y'all like to do as this swarm of locusts sort of descends as it kind of passes through the area? It's so thick you cannot see through this cloud of locusts. It's like a wall of millions and millions and millions of them.
And there's no like low hanging like trees or mushrooms or anything.
Yeah, as this cloud flies, there aren't like gaps where you can see light on the other side. It's so thick that it completely obscures like anything.
So I can't see.
You cannot see through this cloud of locusts.
No, I can't see stuff to hide underneath.
Presently you can, but you will not be able to see through this cloud. Gemnis is shrieking that everyone needs to stay together.
Does he seem like he is shrieking that out of a knowledge of the terrain or out of panic?
Out of panic.
Okay.
And as Gemnis sort of dives down near this hole as well, you're going to see the moth people as they're sort of making a split decision. And then the three of them are going to dive as well and cluster up down here near this hole. And keep in mind, they're not really protected. They're just sort of huddling together. Cruel and Fife and Gimnus are all kind of like... They have this cloud over them, but the three moths are just sort of like covering their faces and trying to huddle. They're all clustering down here. What would y'all like to do?
I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try and hide, basically take cover. That's what the roll was for. I just rolled 20 on stealth. Whatever cover that affords me.
Okay. Luthien, what are you going to do?
I mean, try and hide somewhere. So I can't, because of the cloud, I can't see, like, any mushrooms or trees to hide underneath.
No, when the cloud reaches you, it will be so thick that you will not be able to see through it. But it's like encroaching on you.
Well, I'm gonna quickly run to cover.
Okay, so where and how are you taking cover?
Underneath the lowest mushroom I can find.
Alright, so Echo. And where are you hiding, Echo? So Luthien and Echo are separate, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, so as these locusts descend upon everybody, it's going to become so thick and quiet. Not quiet. It's so thick that there's this loud buzz that sort of you can't hear anything over the sound of like these angry wings of these insects sort of flying about, and it blocks out all light. You're not able to see anything in the vicinity as all the group of you all sort of clustered together, sort of remain together. Luthien and Echo, each of you are sort of individually hiding in your spots as the storm sort of swirls over you. And as this storm passes, and all of these locusts are sort of moved on, you are going to find yourselves in a completely different place. However, Echo, wherever you are alone. Luthien, wherever you are alone. Fife and Cruel, you are with Gimnis, Anaverin, Isseries, and Nyagan. Where the fuck is Nyagan? Oh, there she is. So those who clustered together are together. Echo and Luthien, you will start the session isolated at the beginning of the next session.
Hey.
As when this storm passes, you are all in different locations than you were when the storm first came through.
Oh no.
Just put us back on this one for now. So I will say this. Fife and Cruel, the moth people, particularly Nyagin, they're pissed. Nyagin is pissed. On top of that, from what you can gather, the moth people also seem completely disoriented now.
Okay.
Cool.
It's not our fault. We didn't summon the swarm. It's fine.
No, it's not your fault.
It's just them being bad at their jobs. They should
Yeah.
do better.
Yeah. Not noticing we don't have wings. Oh my
It's
god.
like, what do you mean you can't fly or teleport? Everything around here can fly and teleport.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so at the start of the next session, we will pick up there. And we will pick up with Luthien and Echo as well, sort of doing their thing. That'll be kind of interesting.
What a session. Oh my goodness. So much.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to take a break in the middle of that, y'all. We'll go ahead and
Oh,
pause the
wow.
recording
Again?
here.